about Kundalini Awakening. Now, when I was first starting out on my path, I had some really intense experiences. And people have said to me, well, that sounds like a Kundalini awakening. I remember just at one point just reading and doing a lot of meditation, like for hours a day. And then all of a sudden I found myself standing in what felt like a pit of fire. Like I was with my friend and I'm like, I'm on fire. I don't know what to do. I'm on fire. And he's like, you're not on fire. I'm like, no, really, I'm on fire. I don't know how to explain it to you. And people have said that to me like, oh, hey, that sounds like it might have been a Kundalini awakening. Have you had those experiences or know people that have gone through that?
And like, for example, one time I had, both times were after hours and hours of deep meditation for days. And this one time I had this physical sensation which came with it, where my body went into full flexibility. Like I was like one of those yogis from the pinup boards, right? Where I could put my head in between my legs and out the other side. And I was just sitting in full light. It was really this moment of deep enlightenment. And I was just like, oh my God, I could die right now. It's all done. I have achieved it, done for this lifetime. And then an hour or two later, I was gone. Was just right back to normal. It was like this big wave came through and then it recalibrated. And I was like, hey, what happened? This was so amazing. And then I tried stretching and I was right back to normal where I was before. So that was a real powerful experience for me, because I realized it had to do, this Kundalini awakening and this flow through your body affected the actual flexibility of my tendons, of my muscles, of things where people say, oh yeah, it'll take you 5 years to reach that level of flexibility, right? It was instant because, again, for us as humans, that's the capacity we have. And so the other thing I learned from it too is that the only reason I'm not as flexible as I was on that day is because of the blocks in my mind and my emotional inflexibility. And that was a hard pill to swallow too. It's much easier to blame it on your muscles and your tendons.
Yes, that is such a good point, because wow, I love how you explain that. It's really the emotional, mental inflexibility. That's a beautiful way to say that, because because I work with clients and stuff, I practice Ayurveda. I'm an Ayurveda practitioner and I do Ayurvedic body work and stuff too. And I'll have clients come in and they're like, if I could just get my shoulder and if my neck tension, and I'm thinking to myself, because I know a deeper beat, I'm like, well, maybe if you stop feeling like you had to carry everything on your shoulders, or maybe if you put some of the weight of the world down or the weight of other people's stuff, your shoulders wouldn't be as heavy. And like I said, we had this whole conversation right before you got on here about the mental blocks. And I was explaining to Melissa here that I realized yesterday I had this awareness that kind of happened. I don't feel self-love a lot in my brain, because my brain, 1 minute I'm the coolest person to ever walk on the earth, the next I might as well go die in a ditch, is basically what I said. But I feel self-love in my heart, and I feel self-love in my being. It's when I spend so much time up in my brain that the same thing, I'm like tensed, I get my shoulders are rising up, I start to cut off my breath and everything, because up here I'm like being thrown around in what feels like a tsunami a lot of the time, and I'm just trying to maintain and find my balance.